It's a high noon showdown at Progressive Field as Mitch Talbot makes his first start since April 11th for the Tribe against Red Sox ace John Lester. The Indians rallied to take Game 1 before the Sox got a key homer from their captain to win Game 2. We have the rubber match. Get ready to chuck and duck next on Sports Time Ohio. A matinee affair between the Indians and the Boston Red Sox to wrap up their three-game series. Day baseball in downtown Cleveland, and it looks like it's going to be a gorgeous afternoon. Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Underwood. Alongside Rick Manning, Indians and Red Sox have split the first two games of this big series, with Boston finally getting their first win against the Tribe in last night's ballgame. So we looked at today. Interesting pitching matchup because Mitch Talbot, we haven't seen him since early April, and of course John Lester, always tough.
Only 2 starts, but one of them came against the Red Sox early in the year, and he didn't really have his command, but he battled his way through, the middle part of the ball game, and he came back and had a great start against the Angels, then went on the DL. I think today you got to look and see if he's going to have his command. It's like starting the season all over again.
Today's pitching matchup is brought to you by the Jeep brand. We don't just make SUVs, we make history.
And John Lester going for the Boston Red Sox, a quality left-hander in the American League. He averages about a strikeout per inning. He's been hurt this year when he's given up the long ball. Didn't give up a home run in his last start. He got the win, supported by a lot of runs. They have not won in Lester's last 3 starts here in this ballpark. We're going to see if the Indians can continue that trend this afternoon.
Tribe has loaded up their lineup with a number of right-handed bats. We'll see if that pays dividends against the southpaw John Lester. We're back with play-by-play action here at Progressive Field coming up next. To rock and roll here this afternoon in downtown Cleveland for this noontime start. Indians and the Red Sox putting the wraps on a 3-game series. Tribe winning Game 1, Boston winning yesterday, and now it's all up for grabs here this afternoon. That is right. Don't even worry about waking up because it's the truth. 30-16 on the year for the Tribe, 26-22 for Boston. Mitch Talbot back in the rotation, making his 3rd start of the year. And let's look at Terry Francona's starting lineup. A late change for the Red Sox here before game time. Jacoby Ellsbury, Dustin Pedroia, Adrian Gonzalez at the top. Kevin Youkilis was originally in the lineup batting cleanup, scratched with soreness in his hand. So David Ortiz goes into the 4-hole. Then Jet Lowry, Carl Crawford, Saul Tulamaki hitting 7th. Mike Cameron, the venerable outfielder, gets his first start in the series. And Drew Sutton gets inserted into the lineup and batting 9th at third base.
Well, back on the mound, Mitch Talbot making just his 3rd start this year. He has made a start against the Red Sox. That came back here on April 6th. That first series here at Progressive Field. He went 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, gave up a couple runs. It was a cold day, tough to pitch, but he did have 7 strikeouts and 3 walks, and he did have a no decision. This is his 3rd career start with no wins and no losses. Take a look now at the Indians' defense, brought to you by Pat O'Brien Chevrolet, saluting the men and women defending our country and watching on the Armed Forces Network. Kearns in left, Brantley in center, Chu is in right. Hanahan at third, as Drubel at short, Everett at second, Laporte at first, Marson behind the plate.
Here are the umpires. David Rackley calling the balls and strikes. The acting crew chief, Bruce Dreckman, is at first, Paul Emmel at second, Rob Drake down at third. Jacoby Ellsbury steps in to get us underway here this afternoon, 0 for 6 in the series. And a pitch down low for ball 1.
Well, this is just like starting all over again, the first game of the year for Mitch Talbot. In all reality, when you miss that much time.
Line drive, base hit to center field, and Ellsbury aboard to start the game for Boston. It's his first hit in the series.
Well, Mitch, he's going to have to get a feel. Fastball right there that Ellsbury jumps on, hits into center field, and leads him off with a base hit. I would think command would be the issue for Mitch today. Trying to get a feel. He's got the cutter, the good changeup.
Those are good weapons against the left-handed hitters in this Red Sox lineup, and they are loaded with left-handed hitters, 7 of them in there today. Dustin Pedroia missing yesterday's game after he took that spill going around second base in the series opener. Runner goes. Pitch is low, throw down, not in time. Ellsbury with his 17th stolen base of the year.
Terrific jump. Not much Marson could do behind the plate. You could see he's halfway down by the time Marson gets the ball and slides in easily. Leading the league, 17 bags this year.
And now Pedroia with a 2-0 count. Takes it up high, 3 balls, no strikes. Just underway here in downtown Cleveland on this Wednesday noontime start. 3-0 pitch. Taking all the way. It's in there for a strike. .76 degrees, our game time temperature here today. Scattered storms in the forecast later this afternoon. 3-1 pitch. Ellsbury holding, and Pedroia drives one to deep left field, way back and gone. So Dustin Pedroia back in the lineup, hits a 2-run homer, and 2 batters into the game. It's 2-0 Boston.
See what this pitch is from Mitch. It looks like it's I don't know if that's a cutter that he left middle of the plate. And that thing is punished by Dustin Pedroia. His 3rd home run of the year, so the Red Sox will draw first blood and take a 2-0 lead.
Adrian Gonzalez hits a ground ball in the hole of the shift, and a base hit for the Red Sox 3-hole hitter. And they're 3 for 3 to start the game.
Boy, in this ball at short, it was Cabrera coming over, and he did find a hole. He beat the shift right there.
Same shift for Ortiz. The Red Sox DH comes in with a .302 average, 9 homers, 22 runs batted in. Right back off the glove of Talbot. That's going to keep him from turning a double play. And they didn't even get one. Hanahan throwing on the move there. Pulled Laporta off the bag. He tried to go back with a swipe tag, but unable to apply it, and the Red Sox are rolling right out of the gate here.
You know, he couldn't get out of the way of it. If he does, I think that's a double play. He couldn't do it, so Hanahan comes up to try and throw him out, and with the barehanded throw, brings him off the bag. It'll go as an infield single. So the Red Sox 4 for 4.
Gonzalez and Ortiz not wasting any time. They get up there hacking early, and now Jed Lowry. See if he follows their lead. Nine pitches into the game. It's 2-0 Boston, and they have 4 hits. There's one, and they don't get the double play there. Lowry beats it out at first.
I mean, Matt Laporta with the flip, you got to get something on that throw. He just sort of lobbed it there where he's just going to try and get one. Talbot was getting over there, but you've got to put some mustard on the throw. Not able to double him up. Watch the soft toss. He gets it. Double play ball. Ortiz has got to wait, and it throws a changeup. That allows Lowry to come back and beat it out.
Carl Crawford steps in. I could see that if the guy was maybe in your lane, you're trying to throw it over his head, but I don't think Ortiz gets down the second base that quickly.
No, he had to wait till the ball got by him in front of him, so there was nobody in his way to make that throw.
The 1-0 pitch. Crawford a liner over the head of Cabrera. 3-0 Red Sox. Crawford delivers Boston's 5th hit of the inning.
Well, this is a sight we haven't seen all year. And that cutter, he just, it's a field pitch. And right now he's just making too many mistakes with it, middle of the plate, and the hitters are all over it. 5 hits in the inning. They have 3 on the board. Still just 1 out with runners on first and second. It's the one thing that we had talked about many times this year, where they have done a good job at minimizing the number of runs they put on the board. 3-run innings, and they already have 3.
The ball gets by Chu. That's going to bring home another run as Lowry scores. Runners at second and third. It's 4-zip Boston, and it's ugly early for the Indians. It'll be a single and an
error on Chu,
and then the error allows him to move up. He'll probably get he'll get an RBI.
You think he was stopping at third base?
Well, that's a good point. You know
he
what?
Was stopping.
I don't think he was going to score.
I'm going to say that they don't give him an RBI because they stopped him. And Chu just took his eye off of it, and it deflects up off his glove.
Yeah, you're right. He was going to stop.
Yeah, that's got to be an error. No RBI, I would think. Have to wait and see.
Have not been many 4-run innings allowed by the Indians pitching staff this year. But the Red Sox have jumped on Talbot here in the early going. And, Rick, I don't know if it's the game plan that they picked up from earlier film work, or if just the plan of the day is to be aggressive early, because they're not waiting around.
Well, you're looking for the best pitch to hit, and he's making a lot of mistakes middle of the plate. They're not letting him settle in. They realize he wants to try and get ahead of the hitters, not a guy that can pitch from behind, really.
Pedroia was 3-0. And then hit the 3-1 pitch for the 2-run homer. Everybody else has been hacking early in the count.
Yeah, 3 hits on the first pitch, and there he goes. They're getting after it. So you better make some quality pitches early.
Mike Cameron, not much playing time for the veteran outfielder these days. But he knows when called upon, he can still contribute. Up high. Mike Cameron, 38 years old. Began his career with the Chicago White Sox. Made his major league debut in 1995. He's also played with Cincinnati, Seattle, the Mets, the Padres, the Brewers, and now here in Boston. The 2-1 pitch. Checked in. It was a little bit inside. 3-1 the count. Cameron takes a strike. Full count. So runners at second and third with one out. And the 3-2 to Cameron. He's hit in the air to left field. Austin Kearns will make the catch. Tagging and scoring is Carl Crawford. And it's 5-0 Red Sox.
So the Red Sox will bat around here in the first inning.
It's only taken 20 pitches. This will be the number.
I know it.
This will be the 20th pitch of the inning.
5 guys out of the first 8 swung at the first pitch. They have 3 hits on the first pitch.
Drew Sutton looks at a ball outside. Mitch Talbot, his first start coming off the DL. And the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Runner at second, 2 down, 2-0 pitch. A little bit outside, 3-0. This is the 4th time the Indians have allowed 4 or more runs in an inning. That's pretty impressive in terms of their ability to avoid that big inning this year.
Well, the only other time I can remember out of the chute was opening day.
Yeah,
with the White Sox, and you know they jumped on them early. Other than that, I can't remember another game like it.
Bloop toward center. Brantley closing hard, can't get there. Another run's going to score. 6-0 Boston. Drew Sutton with his first hit of the year gives him his first run batted in. So Jacoby Ellsbury, who started this ball game off with a base hit to center field, will bat again. And he lines another hit to center field.
First pitch.
They just continue to be aggressive against Talbot, and they are hammering everything he's thrown up there. Now, there have been a couple of flares, but...
Well, that last one was a flare, but you look at the locations upstairs. You can't live upstairs against a team like Boston. They will let you know when you are missing your location, and that's certainly happening right now. But now it's one of those things where Talbot's got to get his work in, but, you know, with 6 runs, you're down before you even step foot into the dugout.
8 hits already here in the first inning. Dustin Pedroia hit the 2-run homer. And the 1-0 pitch, checked and fouled it off. Well, if you're looking for a silver lining, it was 2 years ago today that the Indians fell behind Tampa 10-0 by the 4th inning, and they rallied all the way back to win it 11-10. Remember that 7-run 9th inning on Memorial Day?
Well, I do. Yes, I remember that game.
On one pitch. Throw it back to first.
Tampa did it to the Indians the week before, didn't they? It was 7-0 when we were down in Tampa, and we came back and returned the favor.
Popped back out of play. Mentioned only the hold on a second. I'm looking at this note now that Tommy just handed me. As Talbot sets with 2 on and 2 out, the 2-2 pitch a little bit inside. The Indians gave up 8 runs in the 4th inning on opening day to the White Sox. They also gave up 4 runs in an inning in that same game to Chicago. Gave up 4 in an inning the next day to Chicago.
Right.
And 4 against Tampa in the 2nd inning on May 12th. Right back to the screen. Ironically, all home games. As well as they've played at home, but the biggest innings they've allowed have all also come here at home. Six runs here for Boston, and they're still batting with 2 on and 2 out. And the 3-2 pitch to Pedroia. Runners go, and a ground ball single into left field. Coming around third to score is Drew Sutton. 7-0 Boston.
Well, Ellsbury and Pedroia both have 2 hits in the very first inning. Pedroia with 3 RBIs. And this is the route. The route is on. You got to get the bullpen up now. You can't leave him out there. That ball's up there, and he gets on top of it. You talk about going upstairs and getting on top. Finds the hole. Sutton's off and running on the pitch. It is a 7-run first inning for Boston, and they're not through yet.
7-0. 9 hits for Boston here in the first. Talbot's up to 32 pitches. 18 have been strikes. And every strike it seems like he's thrown over the plate has been pounded somewhere. Adrian Gonzalez looks at a ball outside. Popped in the air to left. Kearns closing on it. He's there. He's got it. And the inning mercifully is over. Boston with a 7 spot in the first. It's a 7-0 Boston lead. As we go to the bottom of the first inning. Well, here's the Indians starting lineup, brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Not tough enough when you're facing John Lester, who's 6-1.
Yeah.
But you've got a 7-run deficit early before you've taken a swing. Well, let's see if this lineup can get after him. And as you said before, you try to steal a little momentum back.
That's
you don't
right.
get them all back at once, but try to put a little dent into it.
You're absolutely right. I mean, this guy's a tough customer, so you know what? Hopefully you don't let him settle in. He has been prolonged for the long ball. He's given up 9 this year. And that's exactly what you do. You try and just peck away. Hey, they haven't had a chance to hit yet. They still have 27 outs. Go up there and get a couple an inning. Not try and do too much too quickly, but it is a big hole to climb out of.
Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Michael Brantley 1 for 7 in the series. Fouled right back. 1-2 the count.
Lester, a guy on the road this year. He is 3-0 with 382 earned run average in his 6 starts. He's just one of the better left-handers in the league when you look at it. Although the Red Sox have lost each of his last 3 starts against the Tribe in this ballpark, but they've never given him this much of a cushion before.
2-2.
He was the pitcher that matched up against Carmona earlier this year on the 7th in the 1-0 win.
Yeah.
They both had no decisions, Carmona and Lester. The squeeze play ended up winning it for the Tribe.
Almost chased after it, but able to hold up, and he's worked the count full in his first at bat of the day. As Drupal Cabrera waiting on deck, and then Shin-Soo Choo here in the first. Right back over the screen.
You know, and when you get games like this, which are rare throughout the course of the year, but now is where they have to put zeros on the board for the rest of the ball game if they ever want to get back into this game.
Lester delivers, and Brantley strikes out, 1 down.
Well, let's take a look at the Home Depot defense for the Boston Red Sox. Crawford in left, Ellsbury in center, Cameron is in right. Sutton at third, Lowry at short, Pedroia at second, Gonzalez at first, Altamacchia behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
As Drupal Cabrera, batting right-handed, looks at a ball inside. 3 out of 8 in the series for Cabrera, with a double and a homer. Two balls, no strikes. Over the outside part of the plate.
Some kind of solid start for Drupal. 10 homers, which is a career high. The most he's had before was 6.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
He has been by far their best player all year long.
Yeah, really from day one, he's been their most consistent performer.
Yes, he has. Both offensively and defensively.
A little tapper up the third base side foul. Before the game, Grady Sizemore testing that injured knee, ran the bases. And if everything goes well, he gets the green light. He'll be rejoining the team on the road trip in Tampa on Friday. And it looked like everything went smoothly. The 2-2 pitch. Fisted down the left field line. Long run for Crawford, and he makes the grab. 2 down. Shin-Soo Choo steps in against John Lester, 6'4" left-hander. Fouled right back by Chu. Maybe it's because he pitches in Boston and they have a lot of marquee players. Maybe it's because he gets overshadowed by some of the other top pitchers in the league. But this is not a guy you hear mentioned with Felix Hernandez and CC Sabathia and some of those guys. And you look at his numbers, and man,
yeah,
he has been very good consistently, especially over the last 3 years.
Well, I don't know why he's not mentioned. Because through baseball people, he certainly is.
Base hit in the right field by Chu. And the Indians have a 2-out base runner now here in the first.
He just consistently goes out there and finds a way to beat you. A little breaking ball there that Chu finds the hole. You know, he's held opponents to 2 runs or less in 5 of his starts this year. As I mentioned before, most he's given up is 5, but the long ball, anytime he's given up the long balls is when he's had his problems and issues in games this year. He's given up 9 home runs. But in his last start, he didn't give up a homer, but still gave up 5 runs. But they ended up pounding the Cubs in that ball game.
Down at the knees, a called strike. Missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Again, another one of those Boston pitchers. He can get it up 94, 95. He has the cutter into the right-handers. He's got a good breaking ball. The 3 guys they ran into in this series all have great stuff.
There's a drive down the left field line, and it's going to be played on a hop by Crawford. Stopping at second is Chu, and the Indians have back-to-back singles here in the first. 2 on and 2 out now after Duncan delivers a ball down that left field line. Perfectly placed. Here's our great clip of the game. It's brought to you by Great Clips. Matt Laporta with a pair of knocks in last night's game. Relax, you're at Great Clips.
Well, that's why Youkilis is out of the game today, is on that play right there where he went to dive for a ball over the line, hurt his left hand. So he was in the lineup originally, then scratched late.
And Matt Laporta looks at a strike here. Again, get in a big hole early. You just want to make a little dent. Try to get some momentum back. Down low, 1-1. There's Kevin Youkilis, who was in the starting lineup originally, but scratched, what would we say, it was about a half an hour before the game.
Right. It was a late scratch.
With that injured left hand.
Well, the Red Sox will move on from this ballpark and from today's game to head to Detroit for 4. They play a day game tomorrow. So, you know, you give your man a day off. He'll be ready to go, I'm sure, tomorrow in Detroit. The Indians have the day off and will travel to Tampa tomorrow night.
The 1-1 pitch. Swung out and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. John Lester retired the first 2 after the Red Sox spotted him a 7-run lead. Then Chu and Duncan with back-to-back singles. And now Laporta down on the count 1-2. Lester delivers. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the 5 games that these two have played this year, coming in, Boston had averaged 2.2 runs per game.
Yeah, you can only keep an offense down for so long.
Now the 2-2. Outside. Oh, no, he rings him up. Guess it caught the corner. And a pair of Ks for Lester. Indians strand a pair. Down 7 after 1.
To you by McDonald's. What's sweet and tart, cool and refreshing? McDonald's McCafe Frozen Strawberry Lemonade. By your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. And by AT&T.
Second inning underway as David Ortiz hits a one-hop smash to Adam Everett, who takes care of that one down here in inning number 2.
Boy, another ball hit right on the nose. A beautiful play by Everett going to his right, a one-hopper. And he stops that from going into the outfield and throws out Ortiz.
In the first inning, Boston had 4 hits on the first pitch. So they figure that strategy served them well in the first. Staying with it here in the second. Jed Lowry looks at a ball down low. Lowry hit a bullet to first base his first time up, resulting in a fielder's choice. Now the 2-0. Strike is called. The 2-1 is bounced to first again. Laporta takes it himself, 2 down. Check in with Katie Witham today, who has more on Mitch Talbot, even though it's been a rough start for him already.
Yeah, guys, we saw Boston's bat get hot there in the first inning, but I spoke with Mitch Talbot yesterday, and he told me he feels good enough that this could have actually been his second start back, so it's not that he's not ready. Now, command has been an issue. Tim Belcher, the pitching coach, told me they've actually had the catcher set up directly behind the plate, and if you notice, Lou Marson hasn't moved around a whole lot tonight, guys.
He hasn't had to. He hadn't had to catch many balls. Everything's been hit out of there. He hasn't caught but a few.
Swung on and missed. Crawford. An RBI single his first time up. And the 1-1. Golfed into right center. That's going to split him. And that will head to the warning track where Chu bobbles it. Crawford, with that great speed, just going to turn and burn all the way to third.
Wonder if that's going to be a double and another error on Chu.
You know, he never broke stride, but
Yeah, double and another error. So the second error of the afternoon from Sin-Chu Chu. That went down. That was not a bad little pitch down and away, but Crawford, a good low ball hitter, golfs it into right field, and Chu gets over there, just doesn't field it cleanly, and that allows Crawford to go all the way to third base with his speed. So the double and an error. This homestand, the Indians' defense has been a little shaky.
2 errors for Chu already here today. Jared Saltalamacchia hauling it right back, jumping on that first pitch. Two balls and 1 strike. You mentioned the Red Sox going to Detroit for 4. They're in a stretch of 20 games in 20 days. That's a pretty...
You know, a lot of teams have been in that we've been playing recently, where everybody's going through that same stretch with the first round of interleague play, where there are not many days off.
Yeah.
And that's the longest you can play is 20 days in a row without having a day off.
By the way, Redbird informs me that is the first 2-error game in the career of Shin-Soo Choo. Now the 3-1 to Saltalamacchia. Ball 4, he walked him. 2 on, 2 out. Mike Cameron will be the batter. Now the set by Mitch Talbot and the pitch to Cameron. A called strike. Right back to the screen, 0-2. A lot of school kids on hand here today for WKYC Weather Days. Mike Cameron for the Red Sox authored a book back in 2001, actually co-authored it. The title of the book was It Takes a Team, which also was issued to elementary schools in Seattle and in the Georgia area. Cameron stressing that teamwork is ultimately the most important thing, and you cannot be driven by individual goals. Which is an interesting concept because we've talked about this before. Baseball, it's an individual statistical game, but the teamwork is very, very important.
Played by a team. Yeah.
You look at how guys approach their at-bats, for example, and if you're only thinking about you and your numbers, you forget that sometimes you have to sacrifice and hit the ball to the opposite field to move the runners and do those little things.
That happens a lot in today's game.
The 2-2 to Cameron. Got him. Mitch Talbot gets his first strikeout. Red Sox strand a pair. Middle of the second. Boston 7, Cleveland nothing. the Indians find themselves in a 7-0 hole, and not much going right so far for the Tribe offensively or defensively. Chu with his first 2-error game of his career. Indians had 2 on and 2 out, chance to strike back in the first, but Matt Laporta was called out on strikes to end the threat. Now Austin Kearns leads off the home half of the second. And the 2-strike pitch, a little bit inside. Kearns, Jack Hanahan, and Lou Marson for the Tribe here in inning number 2. And he took care of him. 3rd strikeout for Lester. 1 down here in the second. Our AT&T trivia question for today's game. Pete Rose, all-time leader in games played. Who's second? Is it Yaz? Played a long time, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Be my guess. I don't know.
I know. I would say that's not a bad guess.
All right, we'll have the answer coming up later. Jack Hanahan, 1 for 5 in the series. We were talking earlier about Lester and how he, maybe gets overlooked in terms of, being the top pitchers of the day. Since 1900, among major league pitchers with at least 50 decisions, he has the best winning percentage of anybody.
Well, there you go. How can you leave him out?
A slow roller to first, and Gonzalez tags the bag. He is 67 and 26 in his career. That's a winning percentage of, I think it's like 720. That's amazing. And I'm sure for John Lester, he doesn't mind a bit that maybe he's slightly under the radar as far as the publicity is concerned, because he knows when he takes the hill, there aren't too many guys in the other dugout that are glad to see him out there.
Well, you would think that's hard to do when you're in Boston, because nothing flies under the radar there. But he is. He's a quality left-hander. He's in the top 5 every year without a doubt. And when you talk Cy Young, his name is going to be up there when it's all said and done.
19 wins last year. The pace he's on right now, he'll be in the discussion unless he hits a really wild rough patch.
Well, usually he starts off slow, too, in April, when you think about it. And then he kicks it in gear as that ball is called a strike.
Two down here in the second. Lou Marson down on the count, 1-2. And he strikes him out. So the Indians go in order, and after 2, it's Boston 7, Cleveland nothing. top of the third. I want to remind you to stay tuned later in the game to see our Miller taste greatness moment. For Boston, it will be Drew Sutton, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Dustin Pedroia. Warm day here in downtown Cleveland, breezy. 7-zip Red Sox on top. Sutton had an RBI single, his first hit of the year. Just missed another one right there as he pulls it foul.
I want to send along some birthday wishes. Dennis Lehman will be 39 again tomorrow. So, Dennis, happy birthday. We'll be on and off. I see he's up in his loge. Happy birthday to you. Mary Miller of Canton turning 89 today, and Eleanor Canzanetta of Ashtabula is turning 78. So happy birthday to everybody.
Yes, indeed. Slug to left. Kearns chasing. It's over his head. One hops the wall, and Sutton rolls into second base with a leadoff double for Boston here in the third.
Well, that's the third extra base hit. They have a couple of doubles and a home run. This one driven the other way. It's a breaking ball out over the plate. Sutton stayed on it. Gets it over the head of Kearns in left field.
Ball one to Jacoby Ellsbury, already 2 for 2 today. Ellsbury had been 0 for 6 in the series coming into today. High and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Talbot delivers, and a called strike. You know, the Red Sox, no surprise why they struggled, losing 4 of the first 5 against the Tribe to start this season series. They were 5 for 31 when they had runners in scoring position. Today they're 5 for 8. And the 2-1 missed inside.
You know, these guys, the Red Sox, just need a steady dose of home because, you know, they play Pepper. They hit very well in their ballpark at home. That left field monster for the left-handers. They can play Pepper off of it. And the Indians will be heading there beginning of August, for a 4-game series and wrap up the season series against the Red Sox this year. You know, we've done that a couple of times where we've been to 2 towns. Where were we? Kansas City twice and
Anaheim twice.
Anaheim twice before those teams even come to your ballpark.
While we have a moment, let's check in once again with Katie Witham. She's out in the bleachers now.
Well, guys, we have a great crowd on hand. Weather day early on. I'm sitting here with West Branch 8th graders. They're out here for their school trip. We want to let you know the prorated seats, season tickets still available. Log on to Indians.com to get your seat. Come on out here and enjoy the game, guys.
All right, thanks, Katie. Here is Dustin Pedroia, who launched a 2-run homer out to those bleachers in the first inning. He's driven in 3 already here today. Talbot wants to talk with Lou Marson. Marson and Talbot discuss what they want to do here with Pedroia. Right-hander Frank Herman up in the Tribe bullpen. 61 pitches so far for Mitch Talbot. If I remember right, Rick, he only made 20 pitches to, what, the first 8 hitters in that first inning?
Well, they were getting on him early. They were swinging a lot of first pitches, and they're going to continue to do that.
Oh, a diving grab by Austin Kearns in left. Takes what would have been the third hit and probably the third RBI of the day away from Dustin Pedroia. Actually, would have been his 4th RBI.
Well, I didn't know if he was going to catch up to it. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it. He made a beautiful catch. I thought this ball was going to get by him, but right at the end, into the end of the glove, it sticks. Terrific play by Austin Kearns. He certainly does take an extra base hit away and probably 2 more RBIs away from Pedroia. Beautiful play by Austin.
Adrian Gonzalez singled and scored in the first, fly to left to end that inning.
You know, this is going to be a start where Mitch is going to try and have to take something positive away from this start because they have gotten after him early. You know, it's almost like he's starting all over again. And you like to finish. We've seen him before, Matt, where he has been roughed up early in starts, and then, you know, he ends up giving you 5 innings, sometimes 6, where he's been able to settle in. Hopefully he can do that for his own mind's sake, and, you know, because it's going to be a long 4 days before his next start, and he's going to have to work hard on locating the baseball.
Second meeting of the mound as Marson gets a little equipment adjustment. I'd say you're right. I mean, under normal circumstances, you'd think maybe he could find it and give you some length. But the fact that maybe he's coming off the DL, might not be able to do it.
It's just one of those days. He's been a ball and a strike, and he can't be a split pitcher like that. And you know, they're just hammering the baseball. He's not fooling anybody.
Drew Sutton scores. Ellsbury goes to third. Gonzalez has his second hit of the game, and it's 8-0 Boston.
You know, I think when Herman's ready, Talbot's gone. But again, let's look at the location on our Time Warner cable pitch tracker, and everything's upstairs for him. It's been middle of the plate. And boy, I'll tell you, good hitters and almost any big league hitter is going to hit the ball hard. He has given up 12 hits already, still runners at the corners, and there's still just 1 out.
Talbot comes set, he delivers, and David Ortiz looks at a ball up and away. Ortiz sent one right back to the mound in the first. It caught Talbot's glove. But the Indians weren't able to retire anybody. So he got an infield single, then he grounded to second in the second. Ellsbury at third, Gonzalez at first, with 1 out here in the third. Glanced off the bat. Ortiz steps away. Now the 2-1. At the knees, a called strike. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes with Jacoby Ellsbury at third, Adrian Gonzalez at first, and 1 out here in the third. Boston up 8-0. They've wrapped out a dozen hits. Talbot has now made 70 pitches, and Frank Herman is ready when needed in the bullpen. Back out of play. And the 2-2. Again fouled back. And the 2-2. Almost chased after it. Now they appeal.
Well,
30 seconds later.
Yeah, if you don't appeal right at the start, then it's never going to get called. Didn't look like it though.
No,
didn't look like it. He held up.
Gonzalez, the runner at first base, holds, and the 3-2 is bounced towards second. Everett gets one there. Cabrera's return throw is in time, an inning-ending double play. Red Sox tack on a run. We go to the bottom of the third, 8-zip Boston. Indians down 8-0. Bottom of the third. Adam Everett, and Michael Brantley, and Asdrubal Cabrera. Adam Everett hitting .276 on the year. Scored a run when he came on to pinch run in the series opener. First at bat in the series right here.
The old cutter.
Yeah, boy, that thing just cuts
well,
right in.
It's about
on the
88,
thumbs,
89 miles per hour, and it looks like a fastball. And the next thing you know, it's inside. It's a ball. but you commit to it because you think it's his 94, 95 mile an hour fastball. And it just has great. See, he thought it was a strike right there, and he might have been right. Went down and away. That's the pitch that he got. I think it was Laporta out with that little cutter on the back door variety right there. That's a good pitch.
Bounced foul, third base side. Well, we'll see as time goes on. The one danger with the cutter is that it tends to affect your fastball velocity. But he's pretty consistently still 93, 94, 95 at times with his fastball.
You know, it's not quite like the splitter, you know, where you have to separate your fingers and you don't finish off with it.
One away. Minor League Report brought to you by Kia. Tim Fedorov, the Indians minor league co-player of the week. 18-game hitting streak. He is tearing it up right now. 478 average. So one down for Michael Brantley. Struck out his first time up here today. They're underway in Detroit, where Tampa and the Tigers close out their series, and also in the Bronx, where New York is hosting Toronto. Also in the National League, they're in the second inning in Pittsburgh, where the Braves lead the Pirates 1-0. Washington and Milwaukee also underway at Miller Park. Fouled right back by Michael Brantley.
Well, Lester, too, 9 out of 10 first pitch strikes today, so he goes out and peppers that strike zone. That's what a 7-run first will help you do.
And the 1-2 to Brantley. Strike three called. That's 5 strikeouts already for Lester here in the third, 2 down. Brantley has some cross words for home plate umpire David Rackley as he heads back to the dugout.
Well, come on out to Progressive Field and sit in the newest hot spot here this year. It's the Time Warner Cable Bleachers. All tickets just $10. And a reminder, always buy your tickets in advance for great savings.
As Drupal Cabrera fly to left in the first. The 1-1 outside. Looped into the glove of second baseman Dustin Pedroia, and the Indians go 1-2-3. John Lester has retired 7 straight. Fourth inning here at Progressive Field, and the Indians have made the call to the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon 4G LTE. Rule the air on the most advanced 4G network in the world.
Frank Herman comes on for the 6th time this year. He has been one of those guys that have been up and down, I think 4 times now. 9 strikeouts in his 6 1/3 innings. So Mitch Talbot, not a good return from the DL. He went 3 innings, 12 hits, gave up 8 runs, walked a pair, struck out 1, gave up the home run, and it was a tough start for Mitch. Location, that was his problem today. That's something he will work on before his next start. But Boston, they were aggressive early. 8 guys swung at the first pitch off Mitch out of the 22 batters face, but that first time they went through, it really showed in the first inning.
Jed Lowry, 0 for 2, swing and a miss. Yeah, Rick, you talk about a guy who didn't matter what the approach was, he wasn't going to win today. He had 6 2-0 counts and didn't have much success. So when they weren't swinging early, it didn't really matter for him whether he was pitching ahead or whether he was pitching behind today. They just jumped all over him. That's when you head to the showers and say, it just wasn't my day. And you hate the fact that it's your first start coming off the DL because, you know, he's out there looking to get a little confidence back, just a little.
Well, tough team to get your confidence back.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, he knows. He'll go back and say, man, my location was terrible. You can't go out there and throw balls up in middle of the plate and expect to get away with it. Just doesn't happen. But I guarantee he'll concentrate on working on that in his side session before his next start. And it'll come in Toronto, I would imagine, on this next road trip. So he'll have to take it north of the border.
Crawford, a long fly ball, deep right field, and way out of here. Frank Herman serves up the home run to Crawford, his 2nd in the series. And it's now 9-0 Red Sox.
Frank Herman comes on, and we mentioned a good low ball hitter, and that's down in his wheelhouse. He's able to drop the bat head and hit it a long way. Breaking ball by Frank Herman. It's now a 9-0 ball game.
Fouled right back. Saltalamacchia. Singleton scored in the first, walked in the second. The 1-1. Throw it by him. A ball and 2 strikes. Slice the other way, down the line, and foul. Oh, doink off the glove, huh? Brought the glove. He was there to make the play. Oh, he's going to wear it from those people down there now.
Well, he did come prepared. Got to see if he's got the catcher's glove on or it's an outfielder's glove. But, yeah, it ricocheted off.
Oh, first baseman's mitt.
Is it? And then you got to pick that. You've got to pick that ball. That's a bigger glove than normal.
Right back.
You have your opportunity to make the play and didn't make it. Error on the fan.
The one that got away.
That's right, the old fishtail.
There's the 1-2 high in the air. Brantley and Kurds converge. Michael makes the catch. 2 down. Log on to STOHD.com right now and check out one of our preferred partners, Garfield 12323. They've served Northeastern Ohio for over 75 years with award-winning siding, windows, and roofing. For a free estimate, visit STOHD.com and click on the Garfield 12323 banner. I can remember their commercials when I was a kid.
Still going strong.
Yeah. Oh, 1 pitch to Mike Cameron, a little bit outside. He is 0 for 1. Drove in a run with a sac fly in the first, struck out to end the second.
Oh, got another birthday we got to send along. A happy birthday wish to tomorrow. Our old buddy Pat DeLuca from Niagara Falls.
Yeah?
Yeah, his birthday tomorrow. So, Pat, happy birthday to you, pal.
Yes, indeed. I wonder what he'll do for his birthday.
Probably head over to Viola's or get a little DiCamillo's bread. Put a candle in the bread.
Yeah. That's just another Thursday for him, though.
That's true. That's typical.
Maybe he'll get 2 sandwiches inside. Full count. Payoff pitch. One hopper to short as Dribble Cabrera throws him out. That'll end the top half of the 4th inning. But the Red Sox tack on another run, and they lead it 9-0. Leads the Indians by 9. Shin-Soo Choo, Shelley Duncan, and Matt Laporta due up here for the Indians. Birthday wishes today go out to Trent Adair in Akron, celebrating his 10th birthday today. Also down in Upper Arlington, happy birthday wishes to Cheryl Kriska. Apparently she started counting her birthdays backwards when she hit 60, so she's celebrating her 57th today. Mary Spate in Parma Heights is celebrating her 70th. And Maya McConnell is turning 7 years old. And also happy birthday to Sue McConnell. Hope you're all going to have a great day. The 1-1 to Chu. Over the inside corner for a called strike. John Lester delivers, and Chu went too far, says third base umpire Rob Drake, and that's a half dozen Ks for Lester, one down in the fourth.
Well, you might want to check out the High School Hardball Classic presented by Chevrolet and Chevy Network dealers here at Progressive Field later on this afternoon and also tomorrow. Go to Indians.com for tickets.
Shelley Duncan, a base hit back in the first. He's the last Indian to reach in this game. Indians began the day with a 6-game lead over Detroit in the Central because Detroit rallied to beat Tampa last night. And they have an early 1-0 lead over the Rays in the first inning this afternoon. Yankees have jumped out in front of Toronto 1-0. Seattle and Minnesota scoreless there in the second at Target Field. How about Minnesota, Rick? They have 5 wins at home.
Yeah, well, they have the fewest home games, but still, it is tough. They're out of 17, just 5-12.
Grounded to third, nicely picked on the backhand side by Sutton, and a perfect throw to get Duncan. 2 down.
Nice backhanded play. See how nice and easy and soft the hands were. The long throw across, right on the money to retire Shelley Duncan.
Matt Laporta sends a high pop right field. Cameron. Indians go in order. We go to the 5th. 9-0 Boston.
Time to join the Hyundai movement. And by Panini's. Get overstuffed at any one of 18 locations in Northeast Ohio. Fifth inning, it's a 9-zip Red Sox lead. Drew Sutton leading it off. Then it'll be Jacoby Ellsbury and Dustin Pedroia. Another ball hammered to right field down into the corner. Chu digs it out, and Sutton rolls into second base with his third hit of the day. Now remember, this guy wasn't even part of this team until recently. 0 for his first 4, now a 3-for-3 game. 2 doubles, a single, a run driven in.
Well, the Carl Crawford also with 3 hits already. Yeah, when you're 3 for 3 and you're hitting 9th in the lineup and you're in the 5th inning, it's not a good day by the opposition.
No, you're right. Swing and a miss. Ellsbury 2 singles, a walk, and a run scored. Back to the mound. Herman can look the runner back. Flips to first. And we've got 1 out here in the 5th. Tomorrow night at 8, tune in to STO for a look back at Indians Fantasy Camp, featuring PGA Pro and host of Tee It Up Ohio. Well, he's getting a lot of build-up here.
Yes,
Jimmy Hanlon will take you through his first experience as a camper in Arizona. Indians Fantasy Camp tomorrow night at 8 right here on STO.
I may have to.
That'll be fun.
DVR that.
Yeah.
I want to see how he portrays himself down there.
Probably won't be good.
Yes, it will.
Not with those pants he was sporting that one day.
Those were rally slacks.
Gene Sarazen specials. The 0-1 outside. Back out of play. And the count is 1-2. Well, for you and me personally, some really sad news this morning out of Kansas City. Paul Splittorff passed away at the age of 64.
That's sad. They announced that he had the cancer when we were in town last week. Yeah, so, boy, it's too bad. Thoughts and condolences out to the Splittorff family. What a great guy he was.
Tremendous individual.
Person, pitcher, member of the Kansas City Hall of Fame.
Pedroia strikes out. I like what George Brett said about him. Now, George Brett is probably the greatest Royal of them all, right?
Yes.
And George Brett said of Splittorff, he helped put the Kansas City Royals on the map. Great player many years. He wasn't real boisterous in the clubhouse. He just went about his work quietly and let everybody else get the headlines. And I think that's Paul Splittorff. I mean, he really captured him perfectly. That's the kind of guy he was.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's how he was when he was doing television. Never talk about him. You talk about the Royals.
Fouled back. And he was always interested in your team. He would come in here and talk to us about who was pitching that night for the Indians or who was swinging the bat well or who was struggling. Yeah, he's definitely going to be missed.
Well, we knew something was wrong with him for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But, he never came out and said what he had. He was just trying to downplay it like it was just a little virus.
Popped into left. Hanahan can't get to it. And that was solely because he never wanted pity. He didn't want people to feel sorry for him, and he wanted the focus always to be on the team and on the game and what was going on in the field. That's the way he was.
Well, yeah, and when we were there, they talked to Frank White, and Frank says, I have no comment. That's the way Paul would want it. And he played with him for a number of years, so he knew. It's too bad.
And Frank finally did comment today after he learned of
Paul Spilador's passing and said it's a very difficult time, obviously. You know, they played together, and they had a chance to share the booth for a couple of games, and he said those are 2 games that I'll always remember. The 0-2 pitch. Whacked in the left. Kearns barely had to move. I mean, he hit it right at him. Home half of the 5th, straight ahead here at Progressive Field. John Lester spinning a 2-hit shutout. Throws it by Kearns. Lester has retired 10 Indians in a row. He has struck out 6.
Yeah, he has 6 punch outs, so he's got it all working.
Pedroia looking up into the sun, makes the catch, 1 away. Our game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Mitch Talbot really had a rough go in the first inning. They got him for 9 hits, scored 7 runs.
No, just look at the location of everything. Upstairs, and it's pretty much middle of the plate. And that's what happens. I mean, you can't pitch there, and he understands that.
Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available at buyatoyota.com. Jack Hanahan looks at a ball down low. Strike at the knees. 1-1 to count. Fouled out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A little bit up and away. 2-2. Hanahan 1 for 6 in the series. '65th pitch of the day coming up right here for Lester. .44 of his 65 pitches now have been strikes. And a lot like Josh Beckett last night, he's been 0-2-1-2 to a lot of people.
Yeah, first pitch. Yeah, he's just pounding the strike zone. 10-0-2 1-2s. Very similar to last night.
Bounce to Pedroia. Second baseman flips it over, 2 down. Let's go back to the studios for an in-game update. Al Pulaski has the latest on the Rays and the Tigers tangling in Detroit.
That's right, Matt. As we head to Detroit, they are staking Brad Penny to an early 2-0 lead. Victor Martinez gets a single here to left field, scoring Don Kelly. That was the second run of the first inning. 2-0 Tigers as they move now to the bottom of the second in Detroit. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al. Lou Marson struck out his first time up. Back out of play. That's a strike on the inside corner. And that's again where Lester is so effective because, you know, it's one thing to have a 94-mile-an-hour fastball as a left-hander. That's rare. But he is inside corner, outside corner.
Well,
then he cuts it in on your thumbs.
You try and get after him early, and you're right. He moves it around.
Indians go in order, and he is dominating. Extreme Fan Zone. It's the place to be for a chance to win Subway gift cards, Indians Fun Money, and you'll get great discounts on your next Subway purchase. Stop by any of your Cleveland area Subway restaurants. Subway, where winners eat. David Ortiz will lead off this 6th inning now for Boston, and Jed Lowry and Carl Crawford. Frank Herman has come out of the bullpen throwing strikes. 23 out of his 30 have either been swung at or called strikes in his 3rd inning of relief work. Ortiz looks at a ball sailing wide of the strike zone. Fouled back, 2-2.
He's upset. He had a good pitch to hit, and he fouls it straight back. That's what happens sometimes. The shift over there. 3 guys on the right side like it has been played all series. Same way with Gonzalez at the plate.
High and foul the other way, out of play. Frank Herman pumping it up there at 95 miles an hour. There's a long drive, and I mean it is long gone. Deep into the lower deck and right. It's the 3rd home run hit by Boston today. And that makes it a 10-0 Red Sox lead.
Well, when you want to go inside on a guy like Ortiz, you better make sure you get in off the plate. And I don't think he got it in where he wanted to. Martian sitting inside. Ortiz gets his 10th home run. And Matt, as you mentioned, 3rd of the day, makes it a 10-0 ball game. See, sitting down and in. Look at that ball stayed middle of the plate. That's a mistake you can't make. You've got to get it inside. And if you miss in off the plate, or it goes a long way.
Up high, ball 1.
I want to send out another happy birthday to Frank Koha of Berea, turning 93. Frank is the grandfather of our cohort, Mark, who works with us here on the crew. So, Frank, happy birthday.
Yes, indeed. The 1-1 is low and away. Two-one pitch. A little bit outside. Seattle's jumped on top of Minnesota 2-0. They're in the 2nd at Target Field. Yankees out in front of Toronto. Same pitch, same location, same call. Lowry draws the walk. Well, here's the answer to our AT&T trivia question. Who's behind Pete Rose? Is it indeed Carl Yastrzemski? Yes, indeed. In fact, I think today is the anniversary. He played his 3,000th career game against the Cleveland Indians.
That's a lot of games.
Wow.
He played a long time. A great player, too. Carl Yaz.
And Rick, I think what's even more impressive is that Yaz stepped into the shadow of a legend,
yes, he
a
did.
legend in Boston, and that's Ted Williams. You know, they always talk about you don't want to be the one who to replace the guy. You want to be the guy who replaces that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be next in line, but he did. And,
but he did and never missed a beat.
There's a Yaz jersey right there.
Crawford drives one deep to left center, and that's down and all the way to the warning truck. And that's the 4th hit of the day for Crawford. Pulls into second base with his 2nd double. He also has homered and he has singled. In fact, if not for the error call, he'd already have the triple in 4 at bats.
That's exactly right.
Jared Saltalabacchia will be the batter. Indians bullpen Looks like it's about to get busy. This will be the 45th pitch for Frank Herrmann since he came on his 3rd inning of relief work, and yet to retire a batter here in the 6th. Frank Herrmann delivers. In for a strike. Fouled right back. Saltalamacchia singled and scored in the first. Fly to center his last time up. There's a high drive. Deep right center field, and Chu can only sit and watch this one leave the yard. A 3-run home run for Jared Saltalamacchia. And it's 13-0 Boston, as they have struck for 4 here in the 6th.
That is the first 3-run home run given up by Tribe pitching this year. The very first.
Well, if you're going to give it up, might as well give it up in a blowout.
Make it large fashion. I'll tell you what, down and in, and Saltalamacchia drops a bat head, and that ball flies out of here, and I mean high and deep. So it's another 4-run inning by the Red Sox. It is now 13-0, and I find that amazing already. What is this, game number 47 for the Indians, and the first 3-run homer they've given up.
And now Mike Cameron blast off deep left field, off the wall. His first hit of the day results in a double. That's 5 straight hits to open this 6th inning. 5 straight have reached, I should say. Forgot about the walk to Lowry. And that brings out pitching coach Tim Belcher. Now, these last 3 balls have all been hammered. The double by Crawford, the homer by Saltalamacchia, and now the Cameron double. Remember, this inning started with a David Ortiz homer.
Well, Frank Herrmann has given up 6 hits, and all of them have been extra base hits. 3 home runs and 3 doubles.
Log on to STOHD.com right now and check out one of our preferred partners like Garfield 12323 for all your siding, roofing, and windows needs. They've been in business over 75 years. Log on to STOHD.com. Check them out. Garfield 12323. Drew Sutton has a 3-for-3 day. 2 doubles, a single, 1 driven in, 1 scored. Back out of play. Fouled away by Drew Sutton. Down low. 13 runs on 18 hits for Boston. And Sutton sends a sky-high pop to left. Austin Kearns is there. And that's the first out in this 6th inning. Let's go back to the studio, see if Al has any good news.
Well, Matt, this isn't bad at least. Seattle has taken an early lead over the Minnesota Twins today. Brendan Ryan with the single here with the draw and an infield scores a run. 2-0 Seattle in the 3rd inning. Eric Bedard pitching for the M's today. Hopefully he can get it done for them. Let's send it back to you now at Progressive Field.
All right, thanks, Al. Matty Acta is going to go back to the Indians bullpen with 1 out here in the 6th inning. So Frank Herman trying to eat up some innings out of the bullpen. Got through 2 pretty good, but roughed up here in the 6th, and we've got a timeout. Boston. I think I'm just going to stop saying the score. I think we get the point, right?
Well, it's one of those games where, you know what? They happen. And it has been a Boston massacre today.
Chad Durbin out of the Tribe bullpen. Durbin will be facing Jacoby Ellsbury, who is 2 for 3 on the day. Ripped foul down the first base side. I guess it's one of those things too, Rick, when a team has a day like Boston's having. And hey, the Indians had some big days too offensively.
Kansas City
they
scored 19 runs.
Everybody seems to just get a ball to hit, and they hit it hard somewhere, even when they make the outs.
Yeah, the only one without a hit today is Lowry. Everybody else has 2 hits, except Cameron has 1. So, I mean, they have wrapped out 18 hits. 13 runs, 4 homers. What do they have? 5 doubles.
One of those games that it started bad and got worse.
Yeah, I mean, it can't start out much worse than a 7-run first inning. And you know, it's going to get worse from there. It's one of those humbling games in baseball. It's called a good old-fashioned butt kicking. So you take it. Thank goodness tomorrow's an off day. And then they head out on the road.
Pop back into the seats. And it's 2-2. Yeah, that's the beauty of baseball as opposed to other sports. You know, you get destroyed in a football game, and you've got to sit around and think
6
about
days.
it for a week.
Yeah.
You know? Baseball, you know.
This is when you just sweep it under the carpet and move on.
Off the end of the bat and in the hole. How about that? Just perfectly placed between the left and center fielders. And Ellsbury slides into second with an RBI double. That's what we were just talking about. It just, when you're hot, everybody's hot. Ellsbury a 3-hit day. Now maybe it's just Boston was due to turn the tables on the Indians. Tribe had won the first 4 straight head-to-head. They eked out a win last night.
You know, no matter what the score ends up today, it counts as 1 loss and only 1 win for Boston.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Indians did this in Kansas City, and, you know, it looks good, and you may be excited, but you got to wake up. The sun's going to shine tomorrow, and you get after it, win or lose.
Swung on and missed. Pedroia.
A good thing for Boston is they're going to head right out to Detroit, and they're going to play a day game tomorrow. That, you know, you don't want a day like this to end. They've had a 7-run inning in this ball game and a 5-run inning. And they've thrown in a couple of picket fences for 1. But that's what the Indians have stayed away from all year, are the big innings.
So as I said before, if you're going to have one,
get it out of your system.
Absolutely. Make it memorable if you're going to go ahead and do it.
2 3-run home runs in this game. Is that right? Or no, the first one, that was it.
Yeah, Saltalamacchia with the 3-run homer, but they've given up 3 home runs total. Well, 4 now.
4. A 2-runner, 2 solos, yeah, and a 3-runner.
Down low. Second time today Boston has batted around in that first inning. They sent 12 to the plate. How to play down the left side. Saw Jason Stanford before the ball game. Does a great job with Al in their pregame coverage. He said, "Man, I remember facing Adrian Gonzalez in the minor leagues. He was just this tall, skinny kid.
Oh yeah,
coming up through the Marlins system.
He did sign. He was a number 1 draft,
number 1
pick.
overall
by the Marlins before moving on to Texas.
Swing and a miss. Yeah, they dealt him to Texas for Uget Urbina. And of course, he went to the Padres. And the rest, as they say, is history. 14-0.
Had something in your eye.
Like a fist.
Darnell McDonald in the ball game in left field for Carl Crawford, who had some kind of afternoon. The Indians have had 2 hits today, both coming in the first inning, 2-out singles. And since then, it's been all John Lester. Six punch-outs. Really, nobody has hit the ball hard. He's looking to go 7-1.
Well, you go back to that first inning, and they had back-to-back hits with 2 outs. You almost felt like falling behind 7-0 right out of the chute. They needed something positive to happen there to have any ray of hope, especially against a guy like Lester, because he's not going to give up many 7-run leads.
Never. No, as I mentioned, the most he's given up this year has been 5 runs.
High pop. Pedroia backpedaling, and he has that for out number 1. Take a look at our Miller Taste Greatness moment. Ben Broussard against the Boston Red Sox. A 9 RBI performance. 9 of them.
Well, that's an afternoon or a day you will never, ever forget.
Ezekiel Carrera batting for Michael Brantley here. Regardless of how you feel about Ben Broussard and his time here in Cleveland, you have to hold him in high regard at the end of the day. Because without Ben Broussard, we don't have Shin-Soo Choo.
That's true. And then Eduardo Perez, who coached with the Indians in spring training for Asdrubal Cabrera.
Yeah. The 2-1 pitch. And you know, Bill Bavasi, who was the general manager then at Seattle, talked about those trades recently in an article on ESPN.com with Jerry Krasnick. And he said that, you know, the attitude in Seattle was win now, right now, today. What can we do today? And he said, you know, obviously now with the ability to look back and evaluate it and think about it, he said the Shin-Soo Choo trade didn't bother him as much because he was never going to play right field in Seattle. Not with Ichiro there. Now, chances are he could have worked his way maybe into left field or somewhere else. But he said the trade that really haunts him is the Asdrubal Cabrera deal, because he said he didn't consult with the guy who signed him, who knew Cabrera and knew what his talent level could be. And, you know, at that time, they had jumped him from A-ball to AAA, and he struggled. Well, gee,
yeah,
I wonder why.
A young kid, but a switch-hitting shortstop. Boy, has he developed this year.
And his dribble looks at a ball outside.
You know, slowed last year. He was off to a pretty good start until a broken arm. Remember, in Tampa, about a year ago, where Peralta fell on his arm. Ended up breaking it. Had to go get didn't he have a plate put in there?
Yeah.
With some screws.
Metal rod.
He never really got back to being himself last year. But over the offseason, the work, The dedication to get back to this year, boy, I'll tell you what. I don't know if there's been anybody better in the league this year than he has. If there has been, I want to see him play every day.
Lester with a 1-2 pitch. Down and in. Blooped. Right field. This looks like it might drop, and it will. And then it kicks past Cameron on the crazy hop, and that enables Asdrubal Cabrera to go to second base with a double.
Well, the spin on that baseball, you could see it hit, and it just did a quick right to get by Cameron because it wasn't hit that well. It had that kind of spin on it. And then as it hits the ground, it just shoots past Cameron. It'll go as a double for Cabrera. See that inside-out swing, and he was jammed by that little cutter. And then the spin, watch, you think it's going to bounce straight up, and it fools you. Got right past Cameron. So that's the first hit since 2 outs in the first inning. You get a 2-out base hit in the 6th inning.
And now Chu looks at a ball in the dirt. And it's a little bit outside, 2-0. A little bit high. 3 balls, no strikes. He hasn't been 3-0 to many guys, if at all.
Even Bo's got even Tommy Teflon's got the afternoon off.
I think he took a nap under the desk. 3-0 pitch. And that is for certain the first walk issued by John Lester. Remember, he had retired 15 straight before the Asdrubal Cabrera little bloop double that was just perfectly placed down the right field line, and then he walks Chu. So 2 on, 2 out for the second time today for the Indians, and Travis Buck is going to go down and run for Chu. Shelley Duncan rips it foul left side. Two on, 2 out, 0-1 pitch to Duncan. He's hitting it for all she's worth deep down that left side.
That's what you have to do when you're getting that cutter inside. You've got to, if you're going to get it out and it's probably in for a ball, you've got to get the bat head started, and you can't hold up, and that's where you hit him. You hit him foul.
That's a good example, too, of why I heard switch hitters in the past say they'd almost rather face a guy like Mariano Rivera on the same side as opposed to batting opposite arm side against him, because that cutter, you don't want it in on your thumbs. You'd rather hit it going away from you. You might flare it into the outfield.
Yeah, but the thing about Rivera, he can start it at you. You know what I mean? And it just breaks in enough he can use both sides of the plate with it.
He's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, he's a freak. There's nobody else like him.
2 on, 2 out. 2-strike pitch to Duncan. And he just keeps wearing out the left field stands deep down the lower bowl. Great crowd here for this homestand finale on Wednesday afternoon. And the weather really cooperating to this point. We understand there's some storm activity in the western northeastern Ohio area. Two-strike pitch. Went outside at the knees and just missed. Pitch number 95 on the day coming up for John Lester right here. White Sox and Rangers underway in Texas. No score there in the first. Detroit in a rain delay. I mentioned the rain that's west of here. They lead Tampa 2-0, but they are currently being held up by the weather. Yankees blanking Toronto 5-zip. Seattle over Minnesota 3-0. Those games both in the fourth.
I said it was going to get here later in the day. And hopefully it's going to be much later.
2-2 is low and away, full count. Runners go. 3-2 pitch. A little tapper back to the mound. Lester lobs to first, and the inning is over. 6 complete here in Cleveland.
Spend your day then out here rooting on the Tribe with us at the ballpark. Log on to Indians.com. Check out all the different pricing plans. Also, you still have your chance to get your ticket for the first ever Indians Music Festival, sponsored by Discount Drug Mart. We have Brad Paisley coming to town along with 9 other artists. And right now, you can get $30 seats for just $20. What a deal. Matt, Rick, back up to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Katie. All kinds of changes now for the Indians. Tony Sipp coming out of the bullpen, fourth Indians pitcher to work today. And a host of changes now defensively. Bounced it in there to Marson. Ezekiel Carrera is now in the game in center field. And Travis Buck is now in right. Adam Everett moves over to shortstop, and Orlando Cabrera has come into the game at second base. Popped him up on the infield. Jack Hanahan has it, one away. Jed Lowry looks at a ball down low. Lowry scored a couple of runs.
Yeah, he's the only one that hasn't joined the party, Matt.
Yeah.
He walked once and 0 for 3 prior to that.
Doesn't it seem like there's always one guy
Oh, there always
left
is.
out?
It always seems to be one.
That's what's been impressive with the Indians a number of times this year, where every hitter has had a hit, or everybody seems to have had a hand in a big win. Maybe no one guy has that gaudy day, other than Cabrera the other night had that phenomenal game, 5 hits and 5 ribbies. But more times than not, it's just a little bit from everyone. Sky high pop again on the left side. Everett, the shortstop, says, "I'll take it." He does, 2 down. There's another sky high pop. How do you like that? 3 outs, all popped up on the left side of the infield. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox for the first time today. 14-0 in favor of the Red Sox as we go to the bottom of the 7th. And a reminder, you can get overstuffed at Panini's. 18 locations in northeastern Ohio. Visit paninisgrill.com for a location near you. You know, John Lester's day over after 6 innings of work. 6 3-hit shutout innings. He walked 1 and struck out 7.
Yeah, time to get some work in. Dan Wheeler coming on now for the 13th time. He's just coming off the DL, isn't he? Yeah, he was coming off Friday. He was placed on the 15 DL back on May 5th. Had a left calf strain, so he's on to get some work.
Matt Laporta 0 for 2, called out on strikes in the first, fly to right in the 4th. Indians with an off day tomorrow, and then they'll head down to Dan Wheeler's former team, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes.
Memorial Day weekend series.
That'll wrap our season up with the Rays this year. Normally we'd usually go down there twice, or they'd come here. That's it. After Sunday, we'll be done with Tampa.
Chop to third. Backing up and fielding that, Drew Sutton. 1 away. Every time the Indians homer this year, we raise money for the Gathering Place, which in turn helps individuals and family members who have been touched by cancer. We've raised $3,000 so far this year. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about the Gathering Place, to make a donation. And again, thanks to our friends at Great Clips. Great needs, great deeds. Touchedbycancer.org, the website for the Gathering Place. They do great work. One location on the east side, one on the west side. Programs offered free of charge. Austin Kearns struck out in the 2nd, popped up on the infield in the 5th. Grounded to third. Sutton again. Fires a strike over. 2 down. Let's go back to the studios once again. Al Pulaski has the latest from the Bronx.
That's right, Matt. Jose Bautista is the story in the American League with homers. He's got 19, but right now it's Mark Teixeira for the Yankees as he launches this 2-run homer. That's his 13th of the year. It's 5-0 Yankees lead the Blue Jays. They're now in the 5th inning at Yankee Stadium. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks, Al. 2 down for Jack Hanahan, 0 for 2. At the knees on the outside corner. Good pitch there, 2-1. Now tipped into the glove, 2-2. Hanahan 1 for 7 in the series. The Indians just haven't been able to get anything going offensively in the last 2 games. Josh Beckett shut them down last night. John Lester did a number on them today. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Jack Hanahan. He'll head for second base on a ball that was touched by Pham.
That's interesting. That's just the 4th hit for the Indians today, but every hit that they have gotten has come with 2 outs. Their second double. The last inning, you remember, was Asdrubal who blooped one into right field for a double. For Hanahan, his 6th of the season.
Went too far. 0-1. Lou Marson struck out in the 2nd inning. He grounded to second in the 5th. No balls, 2 strikes. Wheeler takes a look at the runner at second base, and the 2-strike pitch is swung on and missed. We go to the 8th here in Cleveland. It's all Boston today.
Produced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Another new pitcher for the Indians as we go to the 8th inning. Joe Smith coming on to work for the Tribe.
Well, it's time now to get everybody a little work in before the off day.
Yeah.
You know, so you get Durbin 2/3 of innings, you get Sipp an inning, you get Smith an inning. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chris Perez out there. Take into consideration tomorrow is an off day.
Jared Saltalamacchia, Mike Cameron, Drew Sutton due up here in the home half, or the top of the 8th, excuse me, for Boston. Three-run homer his last time up. One of 4 homers hit by Boston here today. One down. There's a look at the box score. If you're not an Indians fan, you might want to turn away.
Close your eyes.
Brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers, introducing the Hyundai Assurance Trade-In Value Guarantee.
You still have to look at it. A lot of crooked numbers up there for the Red Sox. Only 1-0. That's Jed Lowry. They had an explosion this afternoon. The Boston Massacre right here today. Two big innings, a 7-run first, a 5-run sixth, has really set the tempo for the whole afternoon. 10 extra base hits, 6 doubles, 4 homers.
Mike Cameron doubled to left field in the 6th and scored. He's also driven in a run here today. And a line drive just past Everett at short into left field. So Cameron with 2 hits here today. And there's an example of a veteran guy who, you know, the at-bats are few and far between at this point in his career, but man, when he gets his chances, he's not going to give them away.
Well, now everybody has 2 hits for the Red Sox. At least they're starters, except Lowry. But
his invitation,
someone has to make the outs.
His invitation got lost in the mail.
He still scored 2 runs.
Long fly to left, backpedaling Kearns. 2 down. Top of the order. And it will be Jacoby Ellsbury. Joe Smith lets it fly, and it's over the outside corner for a strike. 3-1. And it's banged foul. The Indians, after going to Tampa and then Toronto, come home for a 7-game homestand. First weekend in June.
Back to interleague.
Look for Texas and Minnesota, but I think it'll be. I think we'll be looking for some big crowds because school will be out that weekend.
That
Texas
will be nice.
Rolling into town, and then Minnesota. What better way to kick off the summer season for the school kids and bring them out to the ball yard? By the way, that homestand, all night games except for the Kids Fun Day Sunday afternoon game against Texas. But Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all 7:05 starts against Texas. And then the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday against Minnesota are also 7:05 games. 3-2 pitch, and it's ball 4. 2 on, 2 out. And Dustin Pedroia. Lou Marston's going to go out and have a quick chat with Joe Smith. You know, you always think about the pitchers in games like this, but that guy behind the plate usually takes it pretty personal, too. Most catchers that I know and I've talked to in the past, you know, when the pitcher has a bad day, he feels
they wear it.
Yeah, so, I mean, you have a day like this and you're the guy behind the plate. Believe me, Lou Marston will not be feeling real good after this one. Not that it's his fault by any stretch of the imagination. It's just they feel like they share the burden of the blame. Dustin Pedroia has come to bat 6 times today. There's been a runner in scoring position every single time. Nice grab. Young man in the front row in the upper deck.
They got no big deal. Gets a pat on the shoulder from his honey.
They both have one, or did he just give it to her?
No, he just flipped it over like it's no big deal. Stands up, no glove. There you go, honey. There's your baseball.
Atta baby. Bounce to third. Hanahan goes to second just in time for the inning-ending force. We go to the last half of the 8th. Boston up 14-zip. And Spider-Man, Woody Woodpecker.
Cast of thousands.
Is that an X-Man? I don't know.
Look at him. Scooby's
Darth
at his
Vader's
favorite,
back there,
yeah,
too.
He's at his favorite watering hole.
Did I miss the memo?
Who's
Was it
that,
Halloween?
doctor? No, there's the coal mine.
Oh, that's great. Need something on a day like this.
Cartoons.
Franklin Morales, the left-hander, coming on for Boston here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, I think a lot of these kids that came out here for weather day and everything prior to today's game are starting to head to the buses.
rain's
it's
starting.
raining.
Yeah, rain's starting to fall.
It is.
Yep.
Only you can see that. Oh, there you go. I see
A few
it.
stray raindrops falling now. Adam Everett 0 for 2 will be the batter. Right back over the screen. Stick around after the ball game today. We'll have the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show on STO. Conrad's, home of the lowest everyday tire price guarantee. And we look forward to the upcoming road trip that will send the Tribe to Tampa and to Toronto. We'll also look back at what went wrong today, and it all went wrong early. Adam Everett with a base hit to open the bottom of the 8th inning, his first hit today. Fifth hit for the Indians this afternoon. And top of the order, Ezekiel Carrera, his second at bat of the day. Takes a strike, evens the count. Still in a rain delay up in Detroit, where the Tigers had a 2-0 lead on Tampa. Yankees lead Toronto 5-1. They're in the 6th. They're also in the 6th in Minnesota, where the Mariners are shutting out the Twins 3-0. Breaking ball in for a strike. White Sox Rangers scoreless in the 3rd down in Texas. One and two the count on Carrera.
That hit by Everett, leading off the 8th inning, was the first hit without 2 outs by the Indians today.
A tough way to make your living.
Oh, yeah.
Conversely, that's something the Indians have done a very good job of eliminating this year, and that's been the 2-out runs. I had a sheet up. Can't find it, but they started that series, this series against Boston, in the dirt. One of the best teams in the game at limiting 2-out runs from scoring.
I mean, for the opposition not allowing 2-out runs. Yeah, and they've been pretty good this year with 2 outs themselves,
yes,
as far as hitting wise. Done a nice job that way. Today's just one of those games that you take your licking and you move on.
Three-two pitch. Orlando Cabrera waiting on deck. And the 3-2 pitch. Got him. Carrera strikes out. 1 down. So Orlando Cabrera will bat in the spot of Asdrubal Cabrera, who was 1 for 3 today. Bruce Drennan is up after the ball game today with all bets are off. And then later tonight, Chuck's last call at 10. The 0-1 pitch. Missed inside. We'll be back with you Friday night from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. Sliced down the right side, out of play. The Yankees started the day a half game in front of Boston in the AL East, and it looks like they'll maintain that perch. They lead Toronto 7-1 now in the 6th inning. Tampa, meanwhile, started the day in 3rd place, 1 game out of 1st. Toronto is 4th, 2.5 back, and Baltimore in last place, just 3.5 games off the pace, and they had won their last 3 in a row. They're in action tonight at home against Kansas City. Royals have dropped 3 straight. Orlando with a drive to center. That sends Ellsbury back, and he makes the catch, reaching up onto the warning track. 2 down. And Travis Buck will get his first at bat on the day.
He was cruising back there, and that ball had a little bit of carry to it. He's really got to stretch out at the end to make the play. But he runs it down with no problem.
High pop right field. Has some carry to it. Cameron still backpedaling and got turned around and lost it. It bounces on the track up into the seats for a ground rule double. So that's going to cost the Indians their first run of the game, as Everett will have to go back to 3rd.
Boy, that ball, it must have fooled Cameron out there in right field, huh?
You think?
I mean, he hit it really
had to be the
high.
wind. I don't know what.
You know, I'm looking up there, and I don't see the sun out.
Now, the wind's blowing out. I don't know if it swirls in the corner a little bit down there.
It has to.
Because he's a veteran, good outfielder.
Watch this. He's going to go back and start backpedaling, and he didn't realize that ball took off so high up there, and it does bounce into the seats, and he's got glasses on and everything. So, obviously, that ball tricked him with the wind.
He's always been a center fielder in his career, and I don't know, Rick, you moved to right field. Obviously, it's a different look off the bat at times. Maybe still getting used to some of the parks and how the ball plays in right field.
Normally, he's been a center fielder his whole life, you know, and the balls on the corners do funny things at times.
So 2nd and 3rd with 2 down, and Shelley Duncan fouls it back 1-1. The 1-1. Duncan with a high drive foul. It's about the 5th or 6th ball he's hit over in that same area. Oh, what did we lose there? The glove or the hat?
The
hat. He throws the glove. Another look. Duncan's not happy with the way he hit it. I want to see the reaction of the fan. And the 1-2. Foul back. Here we go. Watch this.
His hat fell off. It looks like Dave Pensura.
Does look like him. Especially the way he went after the ball.
I know, especially the way he throws his glove.
You'll see Dave featured, I don't know if prominently is the right word to use here, but he'll be featured in a comedic role probably in the Fantasy Camp Special, which airs tomorrow night at 8 on STO.
Yeah, that'll air at 8, and they'll also have the Fantasy Camp Reunion Day this weekend while we're in Tampa.
Duncan with a fly ball. It's going to drop in fair territory, and the Indians are going to score a pair of runs. So they will not be shut out here today. Shelley Duncan with his second hit gives him RBIs number 12 and 13. Well, he battled, and he was not going to be denied.
Well, that's how Shelley plays the game. It doesn't matter what the score is, man. He gets an opportunity to play. He goes up there. He was swinging hard, swinging with one knee, but he gets a base hit. Like a little breaking ball in on his fist. Jams him, but he gets enough of it, bloops it into left field. Score a pair. It's now 14-2.
Matt Laporta looks at a ball in the dirt. Laporta 0 for 3. He has struck out, flied out, and grounded out. And he pops it up. Shallow center. Pedroia is out there. And he's called off by Ellsbury to end the inning. Tribe gets a pair. We go to the ninth. 14-2 Boston. Ninth inning, 14-2 in favor of Boston. And as Rick told you earlier, everybody's going to get a little work here this afternoon in this game with the off day tomorrow. So the sixth Indian pitcher to work today will be Vinny Pastano.
Coming out for the 20th time. He's done a good job for Maniacta this year.
Adrian Gonzalez strokes one to center. Ezekiel Carrera grabs it. One down here in the ninth. And it brings up David Ortiz. Those brief raindrops that were falling seem to be dried up and gone. Still being delayed by rain up in Detroit. Popped him on the infield. Jack Hanahan has that. 2 down. Still seems odd to me that here we are approaching the Memorial Day weekend and we haven't been to Detroit.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we're heading there next road trip. Sometime in
That'll
June
be the Yankees and the Tigers.
After New York, right? We play that 4-game series with New York. So mid-June.
Up high with the fastball to Jed Lowry. 0 for 4. He has walked and scored 2 runs. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. And a high fly ball to center. Ezekiel Carrera will make the catch, and the Red Sox go in order. We go to the last of the ninth when we come back. Bottom of the ninth here at Progressive Field. For the Indians, it'll be Austin Kearns, Jack Hanahan, and Lou Marson. And Scott Atchison coming on to work for the Red Sox. Swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Hit him. Austin Kearns will take his base, and the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for the 2nd inning in a row here in the 9th inning. Hanahan cuts through it. Jack doubled down the right field line in the 7th, his only hit today. 1 for 3 on the afternoon, 2 for 8 in the series. Broken bat bouncer to short. 6, 4, and 3. What a double play. That was nicely done by Pedroia. And a great scoop on the other end by Gonzalez. And with 2 down, Lou Marson will bat here for the Tribe. 14 runs on 20 hits for Boston. They've left 9. 2 runs on 7 hits for the Indians. They've left 6. And defensively today, Tribe committing a couple of errors early, both charged to Shin-Soo Choo, his first 2-error game in his career. Tap foul. Swung on and missed, and the ball game is over. Final score, Boston 14, Cleveland 2. The Red Sox roughed up the Tribe with that big first inning, and then they turned the ball over to John Lester, and he cruised, giving Boston a solid effort. 6 shutout innings here this afternoon. So the Indians dropped the series to the Red Sox, but all in all, you still can't be too disappointed with their 30-17 record. Off day tomorrow, and then they'll get back to work on the road against the Rays down in St. Petersburg, Florida on Friday night. Well, let's take a look now at our play of the game. I'm not sure what it could be. Brought to you by KeyBank. Thanks for making KeyBank the #1 bank in Northeast Ohio.
Let's go back to the second hitter of the game. A little cutter that goes into the seats, and the Boston then took a 2-0 lead right out of the chute. Pedroia coming back after missing a game. It wasn't Mitch Talbot tonight, and it was all Boston from that point on. So that's going to be our KeyBank key play of the game.
So a rough day at the ranch for the Tribe. We'll be back to break it all down for you next on the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show.